Hi, everybody. What's up?
Ronda, you're certainly no stranger to big moments, challenges, that sort of thing. But when you see a building this big and you're thinking, I got to sell this thing out, is that a little intimidating or overwhelming?
A little bit. I mean, I think it was more intimidating when I was here for the original press conference to announce it, and now it's at the point where all the work is done. I've done everything I could do, and all that's left is beating Holly. That's all. Everything else is out of my hands, and it kind of reminds me, like walking in here, it kind of reminds me of the bird's nest in Beijing, you know, and it's nostalgic in a way, and returning back to my roots, and yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just excited to beat Holly and be done, and I've done everything that I can do to ensure the success of the event, and now all that's left is satisfying everybody that comes.
I know you're a very goal-driven person, and certainly people want to see you fight Cyborg, and there's other fights, but I mean, you fill this building, you have an amazing performance, you walk away with the win. It would almost seem like, what else can I do? I've reached the absolute apex of this sport.
Well, I guess we'll start brainstorming on that after I'm done beating Holly. But first we have to meet that goal, and that's the only thing that's really on my mind right now. And it's a good problem to have to be creative and think of how much more you can do.
I know you understand promotion as well as anybody, but you've gone out of your way to really be pretty kind to Holly, to be honest with you, and praise her. What is it about her that led you to take that approach to it versus, you know, if it was a grudge match, maybe it would sell better, maybe people would like it better? Well, why did you take that approach?
I really don't think it's necessary anymore to make things dramatic. I think in the beginning, to try and get any attention eliminated at all, I took that approach more. But I think that my fight with Sarah Kaufman was actually proof that people were watching for the athleticism itself. You know, we got them to look in the first place with a little bit of drama, but I think now it's not really needed anymore. And I think that the fact that when me and Sarah Kaufman fought, and there's nothing but, you know, respect between the two of us, our ratings were 20% higher than me and Misha the first time. And I think that we have reached a point in women's MMA where it's not necessary. You know, people appreciate the athleticism of the sport itself and just watch it for what it is.
How about you personally? People are now asking about your love life. They're asking you, your mom, what your mom thinks of your trainer. I mean, is it getting to the point where it's too much? You've always handled this media and this attention really well, but is it starting to get to the point now where you're like, this is too much?
Well, it's starting to get to a point where people are starting to look at you as an event and not a person. And I'm getting to a point where people are asking me questions that I would feel inappropriate asking them. And you know, it's a little bit of a lost consideration that comes with this job, but I'm aware of what I've gotten myself into, and I'm not, you know, playing my own violin or anything, but I have a fight to sell, and I'm concentrating on what's important.
What's been the best part of you being in Melbourne for the past couple of days?
The best part of being in Melbourne? I think it really is just getting to spend time seeing Australian people and Aussie fans and everything. I think that open workouts yesterday was a real touching experience, and that it was bigger than any event, you know, any open workout I've ever had before. And to see how the people here have embraced us, even though, you know, none of the people on the main none of the main event fights are Australian. It's really it's really touching to see how much we've been embraced by the people here, and I couldn't have more respect for them. I'm so glad that we picked here as the place to try and beat the UFC attendance record, because I really think that the Aussies are the ones.
Did it feel good when you would talk to the girls and they were crying and they gave you autographs and hugs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy experience because you have to match that level of energy, you know, and in order to really pay them the respect that they deserve in that moment as well. And it's really humbling, and sometimes I'm just trying my best to deserve it. That's all, you know. And it's so easy to feel like it's me versus the world, and everybody hates me, and everybody's out to get me. And then times like that, I really realize that it's not. It's bigger than fighting. You know, it's really gotten to a point where it's bigger than just fighting. It's bigger than just me and Holly. And there's so many people coming along with this ride, and I have to win for all them too.
Do you think that would happen so quickly?
I didn't think. I mean, I thought a lot of these things could happen, but I didn't think any of them would happen as fast as they did. I'm still being pleasantly surprised this day.
Did you think about being a role model? I mean, did that ever cross your mind as you were going up this ascension? Like, I'm going to be a leader of a generation of women?
No, in fact, I thought I would be a much more of a mature audience personality. I thought of myself more as like, you know, the Diaz sister than like, you know, in Miss America. And so I'm trying to find a happy medium where, you know, I can be a good example of still be myself and not be a sort of fake contrived image and, you know, living a life based on perception, you know, and trying to kind of retain my sanity and myself throughout all of it.
Do you welcome that now that it is here, though? I mean, there's no denying it. There are people that look up to you for inspiration. I mean, do you welcome it, or do you wish they didn't?
I think people can do whatever they want. If I can provide that role and be a positive in somebody's life, then I'm happy to do that. And you know, if people don't think that I'm a good example of anything, then they're welcome to that opinion as well. You know, I'm doing the best that I can at what I do best, and that's all that I can do.
Have you ever considered what a loss would feel like, what a defeat would mean to you if you don't come up?
I know what it feels like. You know, I've endured the worst losses possible. I lost the finals of the World Championships when I wanted to be a world champion like my mother, and my dream ever since I was a little kid was to win the Olympics, and I failed twice. Nobody knows what failure feels like more than I do, and that's why I'm a person that walks in there willing to die or win, and that's why I am always going, because I know how it feels, and I'm never going to take that route as the easy way. You know, for a lot of these other chicks, every other girl in the division, it's easier for them to lose and go home with their paycheck. And for me, I'd rather die and go bankrupt than ever walk out of there not the winner. I'm going to walk out of there the winner every single time. I've lost enough.
Are you an athlete that battles nerves, and if so, how do you cope with that on Sunday?
Oh yeah, I had a huge amount of nerves. Oh my God! But the thing is, where you're in a fight or flight scenario, and most of these chicks feel these nerves and their heart racing out of their chest and the pressure and all the questions and the scrutiny and the spotlight, and it's not what they're used to. You know, their best environment is, you know, when they're in the gym alone and nobody's watching, the cameras are off, and or if they're at their local venue that they're used to fighting at all the time. And I know that I'm the best in the scenario. In the most uncomfortable scenarios, I'm the best. And I know I fight above myself when it's the most extreme and the most pressure, and it's like pressure building behind a bullet that shoots me out of the gun. And pressure's a good thing. Whereas it crushes others, it really pushes me forward.
Ronda, you're often very relaxed before you fight. You said you nap in the locker room. Given that this fight is earlier in the day, is that maybe something you super ever do, or does it?
Yeah, I know. I still nap. It's very similar to the judo tournament format, where we would weigh in the morning and then fight like an hour and a half later, and then we would have the prelims throughout the beginning part of the day, and then have a break, and then come back for the finals. So I would have to take a nap in between every match. So I could take a series of cat naps all day long, which is really used to.
Will you be up super early on Sunday? Or
I think I'm gonna wake up, eat something, go back to sleep, and then wake up, do my hair, change, come over here, take another nap, wake up, warm up, go be Holly and
Have the buffalo wings been secured yet? You know,
yeah. Well, I have like a buffalo wing like mission going on, so like now everyone's all about it. It's like a thing. So Dana organized a place for all of us to go. That's like just the team. We closed the restaurant, so they're just making wings just for us. And then I have one day to kind of like tour all of Melbourne and like find all the best wings that I can all the next day. And then I gotta jump on a plane, go back home, and go straight back to work the second I get off the plane. Yeah.
Ronda, MMA's been around?
No. It's a shoot. Can't really say anything about it.
Ronda, MMA's been around for almost 2 decades now. We saw with Anderson Silva his front kick, that knockout, and Machida's jumping front kick. There's a lot of techniques that haven't been used in MMA, and it is supposed to use all disciplines. You're a judo practitioner yourself, and I think it gives you an advantage over a lot of your competitors. Do you think that there is still a lot of techniques and styles of martial arts that are underutilized in MMA?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm still finding things that apply to MMA that are from judo that I haven't really seen anyone do yet. I still want to be the first one to pull off a Sodasura Komagoshi, but it takes a certain kind of position and situation for that to happen. And I'm glad that you don't know what that is, so you won't give it away. But we'll make it happen someday, hopefully. I made up a couple things already. I've done a couple like arm bars and things that were just made up, and like foot sweeps and ashiwaza I don't think were really utilized in MMA very much before I came along. And I think I also did like the first sumagaishis that you ever seen in MMA. You don't know what that is, but it's cool.
And your tattoos, what do your tattoos say on your ankles? Like, can you explain them, please?
This one is my Olympic tattoo. It's the Olympic motto. It's Latin for faster, higher, stronger, and it has the olive branch from the Athens Olympics, the wing and the flame from the Beijing Olympics, and then the rings, which I think every flag in the world has at least one of those colors. There's in the rings. Every second is one of my mom's sayings, is fight for every second of your life, every single second. And this one, me and a couple close dear friends of mine have matching ones. And this one's a little personal. I like to keep it to myself.
Ronda, would you ever consider competing in the Olympics again, wrestling, judo, boxing?
It takes 4 years of commitment to really do the Olympics justice. It's not the kind of thing that you just visit as a fancy or as a tourist. I'd like to go as like a spectator for once, but I just don't have the time to really put as much energy in it as it deserves. And I've moved on from that part of my life. I've made peace with it, and I've done what I was meant to do there.
You spoke about the nerves earlier. Going into this match, being so confident, does fear of losing come into it? Does that exacerbate why being such a big draw for UFC?
Oh, my fear of failure is larger than anyone else's, and it's increasing with every single fight. And the thing is, I don't shy away from it. I'm extremely fearful, but I don't have any doubt at all. Not a single doubt in my mind. But I'm scared to death when I go in there. Of course, not of getting hurt, but of any other possible thing that can happen. And that's why I go through thousands of different ways that the fight could go down in my mind already. I've already thought of several thousand ways to beat Holly, and several thousand different things that she could do, and several thousand different answers to everything that she could think of. And sometimes I go in there and none of those things happen, and I just have to make it up, as I'm going along. But that's the environment that I do the best in. I fight above myself, and some people do better when everything's calm and cool and whatever, but I do better when the pressure and the fear is at the highest.
Have you been able to get a read on her yet? A lot of your other opponents, you look into their eyes and you just feel like they're already beaten even before they get in there, but she seems a little bit different. Have you been able to get a read on her at all, kind of where her confidence is, if she's shaking or anything like that?
Everybody's different. Everyone has their own process. So, she's kind of more like Liz Carmouche and Sarah McMahon and Kat Zingano. Those are women that have been through so much, that they've been Marines or Olympians or just tested by life, where it's just like they're not scared, they're coming in to throw down. And I see that Holly is one of those people that have been tested before. I don't need that person to be shaken and walking in already defeated in order for me to win. I'm going to defeat them anyway, regardless of how they feel during stare downs.
Can she knock you out? Does she have that one time knock out Holly?
Nope, nobody does. I have really fragile hands, so I got a great chin. Knock on it. But yeah, I'm very, very confident in my ability to take a hit.
Are you surprised that despite your popularity at the start, judo hasn't really risen the same rise that you had?
It's because the new rules suck. I hate the new rules that they've made since I retired from judo, and it's just like Greco-Roman judo. It seems less applicable to actual fighting more and more as they try to favor certain fighting styles, and I think there's a lot of corruption in the sport itself, where they're not really thinking about the athletes or the spectators, and it's a bunch of people that don't even do the sport that make up the rules, and the athletes have no say in it, and it's sad, but it's the way it is, unfortunately.
Judo, you gave a seminar in Brazil. Would you consider going to different countries to judo? Preferably like in the Philippines.
I mean, I love teaching judo. I really do. But it's hard to find time for everything, and the only times that I've taught seminars since I started doing MMA is like for charity, never for money. And I'd be happy to at some point soon.
Ronda, you're very young yourself still, and one thing I envy about fighters is you guys know exactly what your job is, what you're doing in life. You're a fighter, you train for a specific period of time, you you get in the octagon and you do it. A lot of people your age, even younger and older, don't know what they want to do with their lives. Do you have any words of inspiration or guidance as to how they should proceed?
Yeah, taking that time to find yourself isn't a bad thing. I mean, I took a year after the Olympics, just bartend and hang out and try to like figure out what I wanted to do. There's nothing wrong with not knowing, and the most stressful part is before you make a decision. Once a decision is made, no matter how hard of a decision it has been, everyth's always easier after that. And you just have to find what you're passionate about, find something that you care about, and sometimes you have to allow yourself to take time and figure it out, and you don't have to feel bad or feel like you're somehow a loser because you haven't. Because I used to feel like a loser because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But as soon as I knew what I wanted to do, it was a crazy, ridiculous idea that no one believed in. But I automatically felt better just because the decision was made.
And how do you sit with that fear that once you've made that choice, that's what you're committing everything to, no matter how crazy it sounds?
It's really scary to care about something because then you have something to lose. And I think that's why a lot of people try their best to not care about anything. And there's something really brave about having dreams and pursuing them and putting everything possible into it because that's all you have. And a lot of people like to lay back on the cushiness of their excuses and everything that they didn't do. But I mean, there's a comfortability about that, but there's also a cowardice to it. And there's also there's a lot of courage that comes in pursuing your dreams. There's a lot of fears that you have to face, and it's just like you could pick, the path that makes you feel more comfortable or the path that makes you feel more alive.
Rhonda, I don't know if this question's been asked before in the Scrum before, but in terms of like chaos, you said before that you thrive off the chaos. When there's chaos in your life, you perform better. How's your life been recently? Has there been enough chaos leading up to this fight?
There's definitely enough chaos at all times. You don't have to worry about that. Everything's always nuts, and it's all right. It's the environment that I thrive in, and my attention's getting pulled 1,000 different ways every day, and there's a million different commitments, and just it's almost like having one single thing to focus on. Beating Holly Holm is the one thing that I need the most. I can see how people could get famous and go crazy, and I'm so lucky that I always have that one focus to keep me in line, and my line is from here over to there to beat up that girl, and that's it, and everything else is just peripheral.
How hard is it to sit up here and talk while you're trying to, you're dehydrating, cutting the last pounds that you need to cut before weight tomorrow?
Oh, I'm not dehydrating at all. Oh my God, I drank like 3 gallons of water yesterday and like a whole bunch this morning. Yeah, I don't start until like way later. I think it's a big mistake a lot of people make is they dehydrate for way too long. And so no, I'm well fed. I'm really, really hydrated. I'm chilling right now. I don't know if they're feeling that. I don't know if Holly's feeling that comfortable, but I feel like I've been doing this long enough. I know what I'm doing, and I can really just kind of take the dehydration part to the very, very end, and we do it in a very, very healthy way now.
Ronda, you were quick to dismiss a question yesterday about your love life, and I can understand why. Do you think there's a line between athletes and media that shouldn't be crossed, and where is it? Things that we just shouldn't be asking you about?
Well, I think that my private life is private, and I share a lot, and I give a lot, and sometimes it's like I'm playing the give a mouse a cookie game, where it's just like I'm trying to share and trying to be open, but I also want to keep a few things to myself in secret, and I'm here to promote a fight, and I would feel uncomfortable asking them about that. Like, that's a stranger. I don't know you. I would really feel uncomfortable asking you about that. Why do you feel comfortable asking me about that?
In this obviously it's all business up until Sunday, but is there a chance perhaps after the fight where you get to sit back and say together what we've just done in front of potentially 7,000 fans?
I mean, after I beat her, I intend to have that conversation with her, definitely. I want to give her a hug and thank her for the moment that she gave me and ask her to look around and see what we did together, and that it's amazing, and that's actually a similar conversation I had with Liz Carmouche after all that, and you really are sharing something together. There's something intimate about fighting somebody and fighting over one thing that's the most important to both of you. You have the most in common with that person than anyone else in the room. That's why you're both in there together. And yeah, I have nothing but respect for her, and after I beat her, I'll still have nothing but respect for her, and I really do believe that she's the type of person that could take over for me after I retire, and I really hope it's her or someone like her.
Following on from the privacy question, can I have your bank account details?
What?
Following on from the privacy question, can I have your bank account details?
My bank account details? I don't even know my bank account details, thank God.
Roadhouse. The director's been assigned to it now. What can you tell us? How far along is it? Have you seen the script?
We're still writing the script. Nick Cassavetes is assigned to it, and he has described it so far as Ninja Brockovich. That's all I can give you.
Have you had any talks with Marvel regarding Captain Marvel or any other role?
I've been doing 3 fights back to back, 3 title fights in 9 months, and while I'm in camp, I'm pretty much all cut off from the Hollywood world. And so after I'm done beating Holly, I'll have a chunk of time where I'll be able to entertain that whole world and see what's going on, and spend a lot more time on that. And yeah, we'll see. Right now, my focus has only been on fighting pretty much since Zingano camp till now.
Is your comic book role something though that you would be interested in pursuing?
Oh yeah, everybody wants to be a superhero. I mean, I would love to do that. I think I'd be a pretty good superhero. I don't know. We'll see. I have to convince them though, not just myself.
People are already penciling you in for UFC 200. Is that, in your mind, does that seem like the right goal? You know, July, historic event. Does that seem like the right next move for you?
Yeah. I would definitely like to be in UFC 200. It sounds awesome. I'm down. I gotta be Holly first, but you know, it seems like a good chunk of time to like take off and get ready to come back. I like it.
I've seen Edith Bosch getting a lot of attention lately. We actually sent a crew out to the Netherlands to talk to her. Is that weird for you that like we're going back into your judo past to like find it, and when you see her getting this attention and this notoriety, you're kind of like bitter about it? Or
No, not at all. Edith is really cool. She was always a really cool chick, and you know, like we would train together at the training camps and stuff. Like in judo, you have international training camps where all of the best people in the division get together and they train together. So you'll see Olympic finals happening on the mat just for practice. And Edith was always a really cool chick to me, and I remember after the last Olympics, we were both in Beijing. We both ended up getting bronze, and we were waiting to go out and get our medals. And I had my dad's flag with me. I wanted to go out and be wrapped in this flag, and the Chinese officials wouldn't let me go out with this flag. They wouldn't let me do it, and I was like crying, and I was like, please, I just want to go out in this flag. And like, she was the only person back there that spoke English, and she was just like, she was being very, very sympathetic with me in that moment, you know, and she was kind of just an ear for me. I don't even think that she probably doesn't even remember that at all, but I did, and she was very sweet to me when I needed somebody to be sweet to me, and I've always had nothing but respect for her, and she was an amazing rival to have in judo, and I wish nothing but the best for her. And I think it's awesome that she's getting attention for sure. I mean, for the women in judo to get any kind of attention because of me, I mean, I wish they got more, but I'm happy to get any at all.
She was the last person to beat you, right?
Actually, judoinside.com that like keeps all the stats. I tried coming back for like one tournament in Tunisia after I took my break after the Olympics, and I wasn't training judo full time. I was planning on just like doing enough judo to get funding. This was before I kind of got told that I would not receive any funding because I wasn't committing fully to judo. And so I went to Tunisia, and I didn't do very well, and I lost twice. I think once or twice. I didn't have a good day, and so no, I think it is somebody else that like I don't even remember who they were. Yeah. So I stand corrected on my Twitter DMs. I didn't say she was the last person to beat me. Somebody else, you know, said it, but it was my last like major tournament. You know.
Does she hang in MMA?
Yeah, I think so. But she's like big, man. Like I don't even know if she'd make 45. Like she was like super yoked at 54. Like she had like an 18 pack. So like, I literally am so tiny next to her. Like in judo, I was like kind of like an in-betweener where I couldn't make 138 4 weekends in a row. but I was way too small for 154, and that was like the separation. And so she was like one of those people who was like 54 was the smallest she could go. But if they had like a 55 division for MMA, I think she'd crush it.
Conor McGregor said recently that he's trying to negotiate a $100 million contract with the UFC. Is that that's the level now where you guys are at, or is that realistic?
I hope he does. I hope he sets the bar that high. That'd be awesome. I'm not quite there yet, but that'd be nice.
Is it important for you to be the highest paid fighter in the UFC, or?
It's important for me just to do what I love for a living, really. And I was really only happy to say that I was the highest paid fighter in the UFC just because it's the first time a woman's been the highest paid fighter, athlete in a professional sport. And I was just proud of that statistic. And now that it's been done, I really don't care. I'm happy with how much I make and my lifestyle, and my house is paid off, my car's paid off. I just got to pay for taxes and dog food, so it's like I could retire right now and chill out if I wanted to. I mean, I'm not really putting on python skin and rolling around in a Ferrari type,
Are you going to treat yourself to something after this fight? No, you obviously made well from this fight. Is there something you treat yourself to apart from wings?
Apart from wings, what do I want? I don't have like a yard. Like I have it's like a small little thing, and I kind of wanted to put vertical gardens on my walls because I don't really have many plants except for I order grass to come in so my dog can pee on it in this little box. But I want to get some vertical gardens in my house. I don't think they're that expensive though, but that's what I want. I want a simple taste.
Ronda, you met the cancer patient yesterday. Her name escapes you at the minute. What's it like being an inspiration to someone like that?
Well, sometimes I'm like, how can I have anything to do with how strong you are? She has so much strength that I feel like I'm the one being inspired. And it is just really, really touching to meet her and hear her words. And I feel like there's no way I could do more for her than she does for me, just from meeting her that one time. And I wish all the best to her and her husband and her family. And, I wish her all the best of health.
Given you being inspiration to her, does that give you any extra motivation going into the fight?
Yeah, definitely. I have to win. I have to fight. I told her to keep fighting, and I'm going to do the same. And I'm going to win this fight just like she's going to win hers.
Ronda, you often talk about how you like being the villain going into this fight, but obviously here in Melbourne you're the huge fan favourite, so what's that going to be like for you?
Well, Heath Ledger as the Joker was still the favorite even though he was the villain. You were still more excited when he came on the screen. And so, sometimes it's and the role of the anti-hero and the villain are a little bit blurred because the bad guy never thinks he's the bad guy. The bad guy thinks that he's right and just that no one understands him. And I just have a little bit more understanding here with the season, I believe.
You talk about Joanna's rise to popularity. You set the groundwork for women in MMA, but she's kind of taken it and run with it and become kind of a star. Talk about her rise and what you think of her.
I mean, I think it has so much to do with her fighting style and the way that she fights. I mean, you're just captivated every single time that she goes out there. But her demeanor is awesome as well. I mean, she's just kind of like the mini gorgeous Ivan Drago, kind of like, I am the best, that is it. I have nothing else to say. Sorry, every single accent I do sounds Armenian because I impersonate the Armenian guys so much. Everyone's Armenian when I impersonate them. But I love her personality and her fighting style, and she's so genuine and authentic that people pick up on that, and they love authenticity and not forced perception and cultivated images.
You talked about kind of laying the groundwork for women in the sport, and that kind of being what you want your legacy to be. So how proud are you to see what she's done?
I'm extremely proud of her. I mean, I'm really happy with if she had way more people over here over there than I had over here, I would be super stoked. Not just that, not that I like tagging you guys. No, but to see that everything's gonna be fine, She's one person that makes me worry less. I used to worry so much about what's gonna happen when I'm done. I don't want all this to be for nothing. And she's the glimmering white hope to my right now, and that hey, if I got hit by a car tomorrow, everything would be okay, and all of this wouldn't be for nothing.
I know, something that you have to be motivated by is, to keep making history. And this is a historic event, obviously, probably the most attended of all time. How much does that drive you to keep having something to strive for every time you go out instead of just winning another fight?
I mean, it's part of staying motivated is topping what you've already done. Proving people wrong is much more motivating than just doing what's expected of you. And I'm constantly trying to think of new and creative ways to prove people wrong.
How important is it for you to break the attendance record on Sunday?
Right now, the only thing that's really important to me is beating Holly. Everything with the attendance record, it's very important to me that we break it, but I've done all the work that I can do, and now it's out of my hands, and all I can do now is funnel all my motivation and care into beating Holly, and that's it.
Ronda, obviously yourself, the other women here, and fighters in general, phenomenal athletes. For women in particular, what are 3 or 4 tips that you can give them, not necessarily to be fighters, but just to get themselves into better shape, diet-wise, training-wise?
Find something you love to do, not something you force yourself to do. Like, if you hate training and working out, find something you actually like doing, and then, the body that you want will come afterward. You have to start with making yourself happy and not trying to make yourself endure misery in order so you could be happy later. I love training. I love all of this. And I'm happy at the end of the day. But, the body that I get is a result of me doing what I love to do. And, say, drink water. Drink a lot of water. And, I don't know, a third one? I try not to drink any calories. I don't like soda or juice or anything like that. I just drink water and tea most of the time because a lot of people don't think of how much sugar they actually drink from beverages, and that's all I can think of.
The first step is always very hard though if you have been inactive or you've had a bad eating regime. How would you say to get started?
Well, how I broke it was. I had this obsession with feeling full, this balance between feeling full and feeling guilty. And so I went vegan for 8 months and just let myself eat as much as I wanted as long as it was vegan. So I could be full all the time and not feel guilty about it. And then once I stopped being vegan, I I was finally satiated in a way where I wasn't constantly chasing that feeling of being full. And that's what worked for me. But I mean, everybody else can have their own way.
There's rumors coming this fight from Uriah. Johnny Drama's going to be here. Have you heard about that?
I didn't know. I didn't know if John was coming, but that would be very cool if he did. I'd be happy to see him.
What kind of celebrity shout-outs have you gotten so far? Who's checked in on you and given you for this fight and said they're going to be watching?
Who's checked in on me? Kellen hit me up yesterday, Lutz, just to say good luck. I don't want to go through my phone and say everybody that's hitting me up. Pacquiao sent a very sweet little video message, and none from him yet. Surprisingly, too bad.
Maybe it's still coming.
Oh yeah, I won't hold my breath.
Ronda, Western Australia, where the sport is effectively banned, the cage is banned. I know it's the same situation that was here in Victoria earlier this year. I'm just wondering, now that I have an opportunity to speak to the biggest star of the sport, whether you may be able to say a few words about why you think the West Australian government should lift the ban.
Well, I think that they should watch this event and really see how much good we really can do. And there's a real beauty to it, and there's an art to it. And I think that MMA is the most progressive sport in the world for women, and it does nothing but good from what I've seen.
Do you think there's a safety argument there? I can't imagine you hip tossing someone into boxing ropes would be as safe as hip tossing them into an octagon.
No, I've had MMA fights in a boxing ring, and it's definitely much less safe. I've had people get tangled up on the ropes and had danger of falling out and things like that. And if anything, it's distraction and it's much more dangerous. I feel a lot safer in the octagon, to be honest.
Thanks very much.
Ronda, it was reported that Reebok wanted to bring you to India. Anything on that situation?
I haven't heard about that yet, but I would love to go. I mean, India sounds amazing, and it's one country that I haven't been able to visit yet. So but when I'm in training camp, everyone kind of leaves me alone and leaves me to train. And usually it's right after I'm done beating my opponent that I hear all of the million plans that have been made for me that I had no clue about yet. So yeah, we'll see.
There's a part of your book, I guess, that's been picked up by the media in the lead up to the event, I guess, regarding a physical altercation with an ex-boyfriend. Some are suggesting perhaps you've been given a bit of a pass, I guess, when it comes to domestic violence. So what are your thoughts? Or do you think that situation has just been blown out of proportion?
Well, legally, if somebody blocks your exit, it's considered kidnapping. I was in that situation before when I got in a fight in the movie theater and my exit was blocked and people wouldn't let me out, and you legally cannot do that. It's considered a self-defense scenario. So if someone is blocking you into an apartment and won't let you leave, you're entitled to defend yourself and find a way out. If you're trying to get into your car and leave and they're grabbing your steering wheel and saying that you can't leave, I mean, that's technically you being kidnapped, and you can defend yourself in any way necessary. I have lawyers that check these things out. And I thought about it at the time. Come to think about it, I was thinking about it.
Do you take, I guess, how people have picked that one part out of your book? Do you brush it off? I mean, obviously you come across things like this every day where people are just trying to nitpick at you.
You find out that someone was secretly taking naked pictures of you and then tries to lock you in an apartment, see what you do.
Is it frustrating to you that people compare what happened to you in your situation to what happened with Floyd Mayweather in his situation, and people sort of classify those as two same things?
I don't have to make every single one of my actions idiot-proof. You know, if an idiot can't understand it, it's not my problem. Sorry, what? I only heard body image.
Sorry, how important for you to combat negativity around body image?
It's really important for me to be able to at least represent my own body type in a desirable light, and that's something that I didn't see growing up. The kind of women that I saw on the covers of magazines were a fraction of female body type, and I think that any woman's body type in the healthiest form is desirable, and I think that too many of them are not represented, and I'm just trying to do my part in representing my own.
Your response to Do Nothing Bitch slogan went massive online. You said it was eloquent, yet women all over the world embraced it. What do you think that was?
What is it? Why do you think it was embraced?
Yeah.
I think it just succinctly put, it categorized something that no one had really been able to put their finger on before, you know, and I think a lot of women are fed up with seeing the idea that women without ambition are being glorified. I mean, it's sad, and we're taking steps backwards. And there's a lot of women out there that are very frustrated about it, but they had no real term for it. And I had no idea I was coining a term in that moment. But I guess, you know, I wasn't the only person with that thought on my mind, and I think that's why it took off.
You started the Ronda revolution on social media. What do you hope to achieve by that?
We've actually got a lot of great video submissions of all these little girls out there doing these amazing things and really showing their skill and their talent and their ambition, and that's what I'm really trying to help promote and encourage. And we got a couple other very adorable and impressive videos coming our way, so we'll see. You'll see some more very soon.
Have you come across any here in Australia?
I
guess one of these girls is part of the Rousey revolution.
I not in person. I mean, the only time I really kind of hermitize when I'm in fight week, where I just kind of stay in my room. So the only time I've gotten out at all was the open workout. So I really haven't been able to mingle too much yet. But I'm going to. After I beat Holly, I'm going to have a whole day of mingling and hot wings, and I'm so looking forward to it.
The thought of fighting in front of potentially 70,000, do you still convince yourself, or do you think this is, I guess, been a gradual, natural process for women's MMA?
I only pinch myself afterward. I don't see anything until after I win, and then I see everything all at once, and then I'm so overstimulated it's kind of hard to take in. And I think that's the moment that I'm gonna tap Holly on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, it's okay. You lost, but this is awesome." And those are the moments you have to pinch yourself and be like, you know, we are doing something amazing, but I don't really think about it too much until the job is done.
I guess maybe this will become a role model for women. Do you consider yourself a role model for
just consider myself. That's for somebody else to consider. I can't consider myself your role model. You can consider me, but there's no verse. And I'm not going to proclaim myself to be some great role model, but if you want me to be that for you, then okay, I'll try my best to be that. But I'm not going to walk around telling everybody they should be like me. I'm just trying to be the best myself I could be. I don't know why I should be advertising it like that should be what everyone else is trying to do. I don't know. I'm just trying to do my best, man.
Going back to your role to block everything out, you walk out and you start to fight on the front away. Holly's going to walk out into the cage and kind of be there for a few minutes while you walk out. Do you think that's kind of an advantage in the fight where she has to sit there and take everything in, waiting in the cage for you to get out there?
No, I had to do that the first time I fought for a title, and I was I'm just impatient in general. We're both waiting the same amount of time. Where she's waiting in the ring, or I'm waiting in the back, we're still waiting.
I guess is that kind of a skill that you had that you're able to block everything out? Do you think other fighters might struggle with that to walk out into that kind of environment and go, wow, this is great?
I think I'm better at dealing with it than anybody else, but I'm not counting on her dealing with that poorly in order to win. She can deal with everything perfectly.
You've been in the spotlight for so long. Obviously, you've come to understand the interviews and all the stuff that goes on. But it's to a point now where everything you say, even if you get one word wrong in a sentence, all of a sudden it's international headlines.
Yeah.
What is that like for you to deal with that? You have to think about every single thing you say all the time.
Sometimes you just have to accept the fact that you're going to be misunderstood, and there's nothing you can really do about it. I just joke about it sometimes. I was just sitting in my room joking with my friends about lube gate. Because, I say one thing what's your preference? I'm like, I don't know, I don't like lube. Oh my God, it's world news. Lube gate. Oh no, lube shaming, all these things. And it just becomes a joke after a while. I'm like, really? Come on, is someone going to write an article that I tend to sneeze to the left instead of the right? But I can't really complain too much. Sometimes you just have to roll with it and laugh at it and be like, sometimes you're just going to be so ridiculously misunderstood, it's just funny, and that's all.
Better than being ignored, right?
Yes, exactly. That was the battle I was fighting before, and I'd rather that I'm getting a little more attention than I would prefer than none at all and still struggling to pay the bills.
Ronda, I'm not sure whether you've been asked, but obviously I assume you've heard about Miesha Tate's response to missing out on having a third crack at it. She's now dropping the word potentially retiring, I guess, because she doesn't see a future for her in the UFC. Do you think that's a bit of an empty threat on her behalf?
I think it's an empty threat because, to be honest, I have more miles on me than she does, and her best bet really for a career is to wait for me to retire, and then her and Holly could probably end up fighting for a title at one point. I think that'd actually be a really good fight. I think that her best shot is to just wait for me to retire, and it's not going to take that long. And I'm the one with all the surgeries and arthritis. I don't know why she's talking about retirement, but I don't know. I'm really not concerned with her at all. I'm just concerned with Holly, and that's it.
I know you aren't buddies, but do you sympathize with her at all? After your fight, after her fight, it was this is the next fight, and then just kind of got taken away from her. Do you feel bad for it at all? I know that you got to focus on Holly, but was there any party that was like, man, she kind of did dirty a little bit?
No, I don't feel bad for her at all. She thought that I didn't deserve a title shot when I got one, and so who am I to begrudge that to Holly?
If it was somebody else, do you think you would feel bad?
No.
Somebody else that got passed over?
No. She's already got more chances than anybody else. What are you bitching about? Got your ass beat twice. Hold the fuck up.
Ronda, where do you think your confidence comes from in terms of acting? Obviously you're confident in competing because it's something you've done your whole life, but I think someone who knew about all these projects that they had coming up in the next year, that would be an intimidating thing. Is it an intimidating thing, or do you just know that you're going to kill it? The comments you've made about Swayze and Roadhouse and just the confidence that you have to carry in that role, where does it come from?
It's extremely intimidating, but nothing as intimidating as this. What's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to suck. People are going to say that I suck. Okay, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to lose my belt. It happens all the time, man. It's just I really, really want to do a great job. I am going to do everything possible to make sure that I do a good job. But the worst case scenario isn't that I'm permanently maimed or shamed. It definitely is a high pressure scenario where I do have to perform under pressure, and I have to learn a bunch of new skills and start from scratch, and that's exciting, and it's something to really be motivated by, and something to really keep me captivated when I can't fight anymore. But I mean, that's what I love about fighting. It makes the rest of the world less scary.
Do you get more nervous stepping into the octagon or filming a movie, or are they just two different experiences you can't compare?
The octagon is definitely the most nerve-wracking of anything. The Olympics and the octagon are getting close to being comparable at this point.
Do you have any regrets for hanging up on the media call? In retrospect, do you feel like you wish you would have handled it differently, or do you feel like that was the right response?
My phone died.
Ronda, favorite exercises, worst exercises, and best cheat foods?
Favorite exercise? I love mitt work. I hate strength conditioning. And cheat food is hot wings, cider beer, and yeah, that's all I want is hot wings and cider beer.
Have you got your eyes on any Aussie kind of food or sweets or anything for after the fight?
Well, I've been really enjoying Aussie coffee, and I want to try meat pie, another one, and meat pie is really good. And I've just heard that you guys have really good cider beer out here. Like all the beers here are awesome, so I just want to try a bunch of different Aussie beers. I don't know, what would you recommend?
In terms of food or beer?
Yeah, food.
Tim Tams, have you had a Tim Tams before?
What's that?
It's like a chocolate covered biscuit.
I'm getting it. Wait. Is it in like a package?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I did have a bunch of
them. They come in all different kinds of flavors. So
yeah, I got it at the duty free shop.